Donald Trump basically is in a lot of hot water. And this could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what side you are on. Some people are saying that this guilty of all 34 charges in hush money is basically going to excel Trump to presidency once again. Others are saying this is going to damage his possible presidential career. I told you guys back, I don't know, in 2021 that I thought Donald Trump was going to be one of the leading Republican candidates for the 2024 presidential race. But many of us are now wondering, what is next for Donald Trump? Will he be able to fight and plead his innocence to the masses where they still elect him president? Or will he be serving some real jail time? Man. And the memes are already memeing, and I am here for it. So you know what it means. It's time to look at his birth chart. So a lot of people believe that there's a possibility of having signs or cosmic energy that might result in your freedom being taken away. And a lot of the houses that people pay attention to under the perceived notion that the individual might be doing hard time is the 12th house. And this is Donald Trump's birth chart. And Donald Trump is a Gemini sun. He has a moon in Sagittarius, and he is a Leo rising. And I've read his chart multiple times, but I'm going to read it again for you guys because we're going to pay attention to the 12th house. So as we look at his 12th house, we see that he has two planets. He has his Mars at 26 degrees right here in Leo, and he also has his Pluto in Leo at 10 degrees. What's interesting now is currently we have a major area where we would be a little bit concerned with this energy, especially with Mars. But in all honesty, I would be more concerned if he had a Saturn in the area of the 12th, the area of freedom, and also the area of spiritual essence and the consciousness. The Pluto is definitely alarming. And I do think that there is a high area of repercussion, an area of changing his life to a high frequency, especially when it comes to the area of freedom and leadership when we think of the Leo. And another thing that I want to point out is that his Mars basically conjuncts his ascendant in Leo. So there is some alarming issues on areas of where he might be getting in trouble, where his freedoms are taken away. But in all honesty, I think this really shows how people see him as a temperamental person and that it is more centered about his views and how he is seen with areas of leadership. So I don't necessarily say that this is a grand slam for him to be doing jail time. Now, when we look at his chart and what is affecting him today, we have to remember that there was a major astrological event that occurred today, and that was Mercury in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. And what's interesting about Mercury in Taurus conjuncting Uranus in Taurus is this is a lot of area that feels rebellious, especially with the media. So as we see a lot of his fans, followers, people who are going to vote for him have been very outwardly spoken about this, but also with his chart is we see a lot of area of that energy taking place in the 10th house and also in the 11th house. And in all honesty, I'm more concerned about the 10th house when I think of areas of career and legend and being somebody who is seen as definitely, he is the first president, ex-president to ever be convicted of any criminal charges. And we definitely see that how in the 10th house he has the transitioning Mercury right there having a direct effect with his natal midheaven. where the public is really kind of seeing this image of him completely unfold. And while Donald Trump pleads his innocence, it is very alarming and not really good for his presidential campaign. Another thing that I want to point out is that we have a transitioning Mars that is currently has a square with his natal Saturn. And this transit is the strongest until June 3rd. So I honestly think that he is going to have to do some real, I guess you could say, come to Jesus moments and decide if he is actually going to continue, which I think he is going to continue to run completely, but does he have a chance to win? I hate to say it, but I do think he has a strong chance to win. This was a real life blow to him, but I do think that it will not make his opposing team stronger. The fact that this square is only occurring for a few days lets me know that he is probably going to reorganize, rethink, and continue with the campaign. But ultimately, when we look at his chart, he does have a Saturn in Cancer. So I'm not surprised that these restrictions are coming with the area of the feminine being kind of slapping him in the face, and it is at 23 degrees. And this transitioning Saturn has a strong influence and strong long-term square with his natal Uranus. And his Uranus is in Scorpio, which is in the energy of really in his energy of that rebellious freedom that so many of the people love about him. So I'm thinking this energy might actually be an energy that might shut him up for good. And what's interesting is that this will occur again right around January and February of 2025. So we will really see if he's a donezo, which I think there is a possibility of him being out of the presidential campaign, but not necessarily meaning he won't be president, but not necessarily meaning that he is going to do a jail time. But I still think that there is a high possibility that he could actually not do jail time and actually still win it all. You can't turn your back on those full moon babies. They are able to bring illumination and areas of excitement that many people can't understand that the collective needs and wants. But I'm not saying that I would vote for Trump. I'm just saying.